You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's something me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' Path. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. Ready. Aim. Fire! The beast had no time to act as all cannons returned and the fuses were lit. Ooh, excuse me. It was bombarded with cannons that sent it sprawling down onto the deck. And the moment its giant head hit the floor. Gah! Leandros! The beast let out another ear-piercing screech, shaking the ship, and the smell of charcoaled fish filled the air. Your eyes grew wide as you stared forth at your Kingsguard. His muscles strained as he stood before the beast, your golden blade buried deep within the creature. As Leandros wrenched the sword free, the beast cried out in pain and agony. Blood spilled forth from its wound, and the blade sizzled. It was as you said. The blade was able to harm the beast, and hope was once more renewed. Gah! Leandros hacked and slashed at the head of the beast with swift and powerful strokes before it had a chance to retreat. With every strike, smoke filled the air and the creature burned. Charge! Get it now! Stay back! The orc had charged forward, but it wasn't the right time. Leandros had taught you that beasts were far more dangerous when they were injured. Many an eager and unwary hunter would easily find themselves becoming the prey in a supposed winning fight. The creature suddenly lashed out, pained and panicked, mouth wide and teeth shifting forward, ready to defend itself. Gah! Alki! Ah! Your heart stopped. Your heart dropped as you recognized the voice and you nearly charged forth yourself. As the beast lifted its head, you saw that it had missed Alki, but another was captured and was being pulled up with it, entrenched in the maw of the beast. Jaws! The creature chomped down harder, keeping hold of the shark man's leg as he struggled to free himself from its grasp. He was being lifted higher and higher, far out of your reach. Ha! Leandros charged in, leaping and striking at the beast in a desperate hope to free Jaws. The snap of something gave way to one last slash from Leandros, and Jaws was pulled free, screaming in pain. Before Jaws had a chance to fall to the deck, the beast shook its head, sending him flying across the ship and slamming into the railing. Move! Leandros screamed at Alki, but it was too late. The beast swung its head across the deck in a frenzy, ramming into anything it could. There was no end to the beast's destruction as it knocked everything within the vicinity off their feet, sprawling across the deck like ragdolls. Leandros! Your Kingsguard slammed hard into the side of the ship, and your blade slid from his grasp. A small river of blood came out from Leandros' head, and he looked as still as stone. Leandros? All you could mouth was his name in soft and weak tones as he tried to parse the right words. This was worse than before. The beast had been struck over and over, its blood coating the deck, and yet it wouldn't go down. And the smell, it only seemed to get stronger as the night grew on, as if it were gaining power the closer it was to death. The demon shook off its attack and glared at the sword before shifting, its focus around it and at the wreckage it caused. It must have been your imagination, but you were certain you saw the beast smiling. An eerie grin of satisfaction upon the monster's lips, as though it were pleased with its handiwork. Then it turned to you, its eye nearly burrowing through your skull, and its smile only seeming to grow wider. You looked around for someone, anyone who could still fight. But all you saw were unconscious or perhaps dead bodies. No. You tried to move, to stand, but your injuries hurt too much and you fell back down. You expected the beast to attack. There was no one to stop it, and even if you could have ran, there was nowhere to go. But instead it turned its head away, as though you were no longer of any interest. And its focus instead rested upon Leandros. Even for a beast, you could see the deep fury in its eyes. Its animosity as it raised its head and opened its mouth wide, saliva dripping as though it had hungered its entire life. Leandros! Your shouts did nothing to stir him. He was knocked out cold. Leandros! The serpent lunged down and you ignored your pain and fear and charged forward. Leandros! Gah! You only caught the blur of something or someone charging forth, ramming into the head of the beast and diverting its attack. The monster crashed headfirst into the ship several paces away from your Kingsguard. Whatever they did was unthinkable and reckless, but it saved Leandros' life. A massive man stumbled into view from where the monster was before, nearly losing his balance as he hobbled towards you. Jaws! Before he fell over, you rushed in to support him, though you were of little help as he still dropped to one knee. Sorry, supposed to be the one helping you, not the other way around. With everything happening so fast, you'd nearly forgotten about the monster. The monster had claimed one of his legs. But you were relieved to find that the horrifying crunching sound you heard earlier was merely the peg leg snapping. Are you alright? You nodded with a bittersweet smile at his concern for your health over his own. Good. You need to get back inside. The beast stirred from the wreckage, shaking any debris from the crash from its head. Damn thing just won't go down! Jaws, the sword! Sword! The shark looked over at your blade on the deck. It was difficult to miss as it was smoking and burning a section of wood, but thankfully not catching anything on fire. What's it doing out? Jaws nearly stumbled back at the mere sight of it, his fear of the accursed thing coming right back in full. After what occurred on the beach, it was natural that he would never want to see it again. Right now, we need it to defeat the beast. I can't use it. I'm not strong enough, but Leandros did, and look what it did. You have to take it and fight. I can't. You're the only one who can fight it. No, it's... The creature had already recovered, and you could tell now by the look in its eyes that it was burning with anger. There was no time to waste. Then if you won't, I'll have to. Jake, don't! Even as your body screamed in pain, you still charged forth. It was ironic. The very sword that illy controlled you was the only thing that could save you. You had to use its power, to use everything that Leandros had taught you. This wasn't about proving yourself or gaining some kind of recognition. This was about survival, seeing tomorrow's sun and spending another day with the ones you loved most. The pain of losing your father gave you strength. You never wanted to feel that despair of loss again. This one's done. Let me move on to the next. Oh my god, y'all, it's so good. Woo! Hot breath and large string of saliva fell upon your neck and back, but you ignored it. It was close, but you would get to that blade and drive it through the beast before it had a chance to strike. Jake! Your fingers had just about touched the blade before you felt yourself being picked up and hauled away. Hold on! It was a close shave as the beast crashed down hard into the deck right where you were. All you can think about was the blade, but you felt something, heard something, smelt something. A thick burning smell overtook the putrid scent of the beast. An intense heat like a raging fire dried your sweat, and the sizzle of something burning away rang in your ears. In front of you was the massive eye of the beast, and jammed into the pupil was your blade, boiling the organ away. Even a creature as tough as Leviathan couldn't have handled it, as it cried in pain. It had been struck in the eyes and now was fully blinded, but you knew it would not be enough to stop it, and so did Jaws. You slipped from Jaws' arms and were gently but forcefully pushed aside to safety as the beast started to flail. Jaws held on tight, unwilling to let go as the creature shook its head, hoping to shake free the blade driven deep into its skull. Ah! The creature whipped itself back from the ship before splashing back down to the sea, carrying Jaws down with it. Jaws! You rushed over to the railing and peered over the side of the ship, waiting with bated breath for any signs of movement beneath the water. Where were they? You couldn't see a damn thing under the water, and the sea looked calm once more. Out of your peripherals, you could see Alkai. The orca seemed to have finally woken up, but likely saw what just happened, as he looks ready to leap into the water after Jaws. Gah! From the other end of the boat resurfaced the Leviathan, along with Jaws still holding on for dear life. But even he couldn't hold on forever. With a single strong flick, he lost his grip and was sent sprawling back down onto the deck. Jaws! Ha! Stay back! Despite how hurt Jaws looked, and he stared at you right in the eye, telling you not to take a single step. The serpent continued to spasm as the blade afflicted the beast even without a holder. From its head and spreading down to its body, its scales turned from blue to back, and started to flake off, raining down onto the deck. You caught one in your palm and it dissolved into ash before blowing away into the wind. You watched with disgust as the creature's cry became more and more pathetic and its movement grew more sluggish. Even with the beast trying as hard as it could, the serpent wasn't able to get the blade to come free from its now charred face, and it continued to burn its flesh to embers. Quieter and quieter, the beast roared in pain, its once wild and erratic movements turning sluggish until the entire ship rocked heavily as the serpent slammed down. It was enough of an impact to stir much of the crew on deck to wake from unconsciousness. Once they caught sight of the beast, flopping around like a fish out of water, they scurried away to safety. Oh, alright, 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back. Alright, guys and gals, we are back. Alright. Several minutes passed as the air smelled of burnt fish and brine, as the entire head of the serpent turned black and charred. A final breath escaped from the briny beast and then nothing more. Several minutes passed by, yet the creature did not stir. No one cheered for fear of the beast getting right back up. There was just a restless silence as everyone soaked in the peace. Was the creature dead? No one risked getting near to check. You were the only one brave enough or stupid enough to approach the cursed beast. But it wasn't that at all. Your body was moving, all on its own. Whispers that only you could hear called out to you, enchanting you, enticing you to come closer. You can almost feel it, the shadowy hands from the dream pushing you closer and closer to the blade until eventually you stop right next to it. And the beast. Several times you had been this close to the beast, each time just as horrifying as the last. Even though it was dead now, it didn't make you feel any safer. You gripped onto the blade and started to pull it free. The charred bits of the beast crumbled away, letting you retrieve it with ease. The symbols or letters of its name that you saw in the dream were still visible, but just beginning to go out. Then came the voice, so soft like a whisper, no quieter than that, as though it were a weak animal on its last breaths. You. To think it. He resides in you. But I will have you. Just wait. You'll need me again. Soon. As the blade grew silent, so did the heat disappear in the name as well, until it was just an ordinary blade, or as ordinary as a cursed demonic golden sword could be. You wondered if anyone else could hear the whispers, perhaps Jaws or Leandros as they held onto it, but that was a question you could ask them later. Several others had dared to move closer, likely gaining a bit of bravado seeing you walking right up to it. You sheathed the blade and turned back towards your companions. Jaws seemed to be fine for the most part. He gave you a quick smile, showing that he was okay, so you ran to Leandros' side. Leandros! You wiped the blood that had formed on his forehead and checked his condition. He was still breathing, still had a pulse, but even after shaking him and giving him a few light slaps on the face, he didn't seem to wake up. As concerned as you were for him, you wagered that he was most likely resting. You held onto his hand and brought it to your face. Thank you for protecting me. A single creaky door at the end of the ship opened up just a crack, and you caught a pair of eyes peeking out for a moment. The door opened fully, and Kroon carefully stepped out onto the deck, eyes, ears, head all shifting around. When he spotted the serpent, he nearly jumped out of his shoes, but after a moment of clarity, he realized what had happened. He stepped forth, withdrew his sword, and gingerly poked at the beast, its charred scales crumbling away. After a few more timid pokes, he drove his blade through one of the beast's eyes, and a cloud of ash billowed out, sending him into a coughing fit. After he regained his composure, he straightened his clothes, then raised his blade in the air. Victory! No foul beast is enough for me and my crew. Well done, everyone, well done. We shall go down in history as the greatest men to sail the seas. We shall be legends. The ones to not only survive the Leviathan, but kill it as well. Alkai, get the crew to cut its head off quickly. We must make sure it's dead, but we can use this as a trophy. It'll be rich and famous, I tell ye. Kroon continued to bounce around in glee, unaware as the crew slowly picked themselves up off the floor. It was a difficult battle, and as you looked around, there was less than half the crew left. Well, what are you all waiting for? Get to work, you slackers! Alkai, hurry it up! The Orca was still reeling from the attack, looking around at the destruction and massacre that Leviathan had caused and back over at Kroon. He stood tall, though, limping through the pain and making his way forward, his face turning more and more red with each step. Ha-ha! The Leviathan skull! Just think of the month... Ah! In one solid punch, Kroon was sent backwards on the deck, down on his knees as he heaved. Get what he fucking deserves. Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for our silver tier patron, Cade Zimmerman. Thank you for going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for our 2 gold tier members. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!